our pastor, Pastor Perry. Thank you for building me up in my spiritual walk. Not only that, but I like to give thanks to all the ministers too, because know it or not, all of you have been a blessing in my life. And I truly say thank you.
Thank you, Lord.
And all of you, lovely people out there in the audience, thank you for being here in this momentous occasion. Now, if you would please, could you turn to Romans 12, 1 and 2. Romans 12, 1 and 2.
Preach, Nico.
All right. As it is custom in our house, we do stand for the word.
Amen.
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 All right. Now, Romans 12, 1 and 2. Okay. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies as living sacrifices, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. I'd like to come to you today on the topic or the question, do you truly know God's will?
Amen.
All right, you can be seated.
Amen.
Now, as we walk with God in our daily life, well, we should be walking in God's will. There are many people out there who start off following God's will, and then eventually they just fall off. Can I be honest with you?
Amen.
Yeah.
Now, there are also those people in this world who join the church and everything, but out of religion, they just don't even see God's will to begin with.
Amen. You talking?
Now, we must constantly be walking in God's will. We cannot be either one of these people, because that's not where God called us to be.
Amen.
Now, in the text that I read for you today, Paul was writing a letter to the church of Rome. Now, you see, Paul was very pleased at what he'd been hearing about the churches of Rome. They were doing what they were supposed to do. They were just going out and being disciples. Now, Paul, every time he tried to go to the church of Rome, something would step in the way and he'd get blocked. He might go to jail, you know. We all know Paul went to jail. And he would just get blocked by something.
All right.
But because of Paul's determination, he didn't let that thing stop.
Amen.
That's a lesson for you
Amen.
right there, but that's not my topic. Now, see, for this moment, he was writing this letter, and in this letter, it challenged every part of them to change. Now, changing your mind to that of God requires some things, and without these things, you will never be able to experience God to the fullest.
Wow. Yeah.
You preaching?
Amen. That's right.
Now,
You preaching?
well, Nico, how exactly do I experience God to the fullest? Well, that's a good question. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, see, to experience God to the fullest, one must know the will of God.
Yeah.
Well, Nico, how do I find the will of God? Well, to find the will of God, one must first know. I'm sorry, y'all. Excuse me.
You got it, Nico.
But to truly be somebody that finds the will of God, you must first be a person that's totally submissive to God.
Yeah.
Amen.
Now,
Yeah.
this is exactly where a lot of people fail. See, submit by definition means to yield. Well, what does yield mean? Yield means to give way to influence. Well, what does... Hold on. See, I'm not done with submission yet. See, submit also means to present, offer, or to give. And see, that's where a lot of people fail at. Submit is not just a one-time thing.
Yes.
See, believe it or not, a lot of people go to God for one night.
Come on.
You preaching?
Come on.
You
And then
preaching?
they're like, God, I need this. And then, sure enough, God can move. But just think if you were there constantly.
You better preach, Nico.
God.
Yeah.
Just think about it. Now, see, in the book of James 4 and 7, it says, submit to God, resist the devil, and he shall flee. Now, see, without submission, you leave the door wide open for the devil to just run away.
Yeah.
You preaching?
Now, let me give you a little example real quick. My name for the moment is going to be Jerome McDaniel. Why? I don't know, but that's what I'm going to go with, okay? So, God told me to pray last night, and I go, and I'm thinking like, okay, God, you told me to do one thing, but I want to do what I want to do. So, I go back and forth contemplating it, and I end up not praying to God.
Yeah.
Now, later on that night, my friends show up, they got the beer, they're like, hey, bro, we got the beer, we got the women, we got the party, it's about to go down.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
Tell it. You telling it.
now, you sitting there at that door and you're contemplating whether or not you want to go in and you want to just have yourself a ball. But sadly, in this story, you do it. Well, I do it. And so I wake up later that night, regaining consciousness, like, God, forgive me. And now, all that could have been avoided if you would have just did what God told you to do in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's so much easier to fight with God than against Him.
Hey, yes, you preaching.
Yeah.
Well, Nico, I have this submission part down, but I'm still having trouble. Well, no matter how deep you are with God, you're always going to have some kind of problem around you.
Yeah.
Let's get that straight right now. Well, see, let me ask you this question. Are you conforming to this world? Because that's my second point. See, let's talk about conformity for a second. By definition, conform means to act in accordance with or harmony. It means to assume a certain form or figure. You see, our boy Jerome McDaniel, even though he wasn't submitted to God fully, he still could have made that mistake. Now see, even the most submitted people in the world mess up. It's just a part of being human. But with that, a lot of people develop this philosophy called, because I'm human, I'm going to...
You better preach. You better preach, Nico.
Yeah.
If you're human, you realize that because I'm flawed, I need to reach out to something that's a little bit greater than
You
myself.
better preach.
Yeah.
And with that reaching out and that relationship from that thing, which is God, He imparts something on the inside of me that changes my life forever.
Yeah.
You have to be mature enough to know that right is right and wrong is wrong. Yes. You're not always going to be right, people. Sometimes you're going to be left.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
I got it.
I got there first.
But now see, Peter was a man of God who did have a slip up. He denied Jesus, the one and only Jesus. And I know he felt so horrible about what he did. But to see, the thing is, though, he didn't sit down in his own self-pity. He actually rose up.
Wow. Yeah.
See, this is where a lot of people fail at, because they think, well, I'm just going to stay here because I feel comfortable here. What's comfortable about feeling sad all the time?
Wow.
Now, Peter did do better. He rose back up. Now, see, if you would submit to God, even those secret things, those things that you hide in your closet, hey, how you doing? Those things that you hide in your closet, submit it to God, and I promise you, your life will be so much easier.
Yeah.
Amen.
Now, so we think just because I've gotten these two things right, I should be fine. Life should be dandy, but I'm here to tell you today that if a job isn't done 100%, it's still a job that needs to be finished.
All right.
Yeah.
I know, Mom, I need to go clean up my room. Yeah. But see, my third point is our whole mind must be transformed. See, the definition of transformation means to change in form, appearance, nature, character, or even to morph. Now, when I think back to my childhood, I think of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
All right. All right.
Now, see, the thing about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is there was this guy named Lord Ooze, right? And he sent down his little minions, the little bird things, and they wreak havoc among the earth, right? Connect the dots. I need you to connect the dots.
We got him.
Now, see, these things will wreak havoc on the earth. So the Power Rangers would then have to go out and they'd have to fight the monsters. But then it came a point in the battle when they realized that they were losing.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, they didn't transform into the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. They were just Tommy, Billy, and so on.
Yeah.
Now, they realized that they had to connect to something that was a little bit greater than themselves, well, a lot greater than themselves. And so they did, and the thing is, they ended up winning that battle.
Amen.
Now, transformation is not a simple thing. It's not as easy as 1, 2, 3. Now, a way we do transform our mind is through reading our word.
Right.
Well, let me see. I'm sorry, y'all. See, you have to love your word. You have to love it to the point where you're a child all over again, and your word is like your blanket. See, a lot of kids have this thing that they hold on to that provides this warmth and security that they need. Well, see, that's what our word should be.
Amen.
To that point, we should have that kind of relationship with God to the point where we don't have Him near us. We are lost. We are confused. Man, and some things can only be changed through prayer and fasting.
Yeah, that's right.
Amen.
Now, one perfect example of someone who showed so strongly all three of these traits, He did not conform to this world. He submitted, but also he transformed, was Jesus.
Amen.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people say Jesus, well, he was God in flesh, but get this, he was in flesh. So that means
Yeah.
he had earthly temptations.
Yeah.
Okay? Now,
You preaching.
Jesus was in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights.